So, my name is Micayla, and I will be telling you about Hinduism. First of all, the symbol for Hinduism is called the Om. This is the Om. So, Hindus consider the Om to be the universal name for the Lord who created all of their land. Hinduism was founded at the Indus River Valley, which is in modern-day Pakistan. But this river is very important to them because this was the first civilization that had Hinduism, and this is the Indus Valley. Who was it founded by? According to the HMH textbook, Hinduism is unlike other religions like Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, because it cannot be traced back to one specific founder, or it's like more like a set of ideas that was combined over time. So a long period of time, all these ideas came together and formed Hinduism. Hindus basically want to reunite their souls with Brahman. They believe in reincarnation, and they think that you are born into a different body after you die. This happens with karma. If you have good karma, then you will be born into a higher social class. And if you have bad karma, if you didn't do good things like no violence and give charity, then you will be born lower, even as an animal. Some forms or branches include Vaishnavism, Shivism, Shakesism, and Smartism. They're all different levels and beliefs of Hinduism, and each one is just a little bit different, but they're all under the branch of Hinduism. Some sacred books. Hinduism does not have one book like other religions. It's actually multiple books, but the most famous one is called the Vedas. It basically gives Hindus the overall looks of their day and what their daily life should be like. They have 4 major books, and each of them are written in Sanskrit, the sacred language of Hindus. What is it about? So these books, like I said, give Hindus their daily life, provide what's expected for their family, how to be good, and how to respect their society. Next is one famous saying, quotation, or deed. So I'm doing one directly from the Vedas. This is it. Only by doing good can one benefit. Those who detach themselves from bad or yearn for good dedicate their lives to God, and those who service the scholars shall be blessed. One sacred site to the Hindus is the river Ganges. This river is personified as the goddess Ganga. In this river, people that are Hindu spread the ashes of their loved ones who have passed. And the reason for this is because they think that the river has healing powers and also brings new life. So maybe if they had good karma, they'll have a good life and it will heal their loved ones after they have passed. You may ask, how is this religion practiced? Well, according to the HMH textbook, because Hindus' beliefs vary so widely, religious practices vary as well. Worship can take place anywhere, in large elaborate temples, in small village shrines, or even at home. At temples, priests and other spiritual leaders may recite or read portions of the Vedas to worshippers. Sometimes an image of a god is carried out of the temple and brought before the people. At home, individual worshippers might offer food, drinks, or even gifts to God. He or she might say special prayers, meditate, or silently reflect upon the world and its nature. About 900 million people in this world currently practice Hinduism. And Nepal has the greatest amount of Hindu population, followed by India. What are some holidays? There are actually a lot of Hindu holidays. I'm just going to list some of the major ones. The first one is called Diwali. It's a festival of lights that takes place every year in October or November. It's 5 nights long, and Buddhists also celebrate. It is basically the Hindu New Year, and it celebrates good over evil and light over darkness. The next holiday is called Holi. It is Festival of Colors. So Holi is the welcoming of spring, and much like we do at festivals like Color Run, and you put that powder all over yourself, that is what they do for fun. So you color yourself in all these different powders and colors, and it's very fun, welcoming the spring. Last but not least, the last holiday is called Navratri, and this festival lasts 9 nights, and it's most known for the fasting. You avoid grains, wheat, and rice, and they do this to honor the god Durga, who symbolizes power and purity.
Hi, I'm Elias. I'm going to talk about Judaism. Judaism was founded by a man named Moses. It was found in the Middle East during the Bronze Age. They believe God exists and there's only one God. There's multiple branches of being Jewish. There's conservative, liberal, orthodox, reform, humanistic, modern orthodoxy, constructionist. That's basically all of them. The sacred text they have is the Talmud and the Torah. The Torah is the first part of the Jewish Bible. The Talmud is a comprehensive version of the Jewish oral law. The sacred symbol for Judaism is the Star of David or the Shield of David. Here's a picture of the Star of David right now. And they also have sacred sites. One of the sacred sites is Temple Mount. It's the wall in Jerusalem. It's the holiest site they have. Here's a picture of Temple Mount. That's where God put the divine presence to rest. Worship and belief. They do prayer in temples. Especially they did prayer 3 times a day. They can also wear religious clothing. Holidays. Some holidays are Hanukkah, Yom Kippur, Passover, and then modern filing. Jewish people usually the most people where they live is North American Israel, and there is about 14.8 million Jewish people in the world. That is the Star of David. This is Temple Mount right here in Jerusalem.
Buddhism. Buddhism was found in the late 6th centuries BCE in Asia by Siddhartha Gautama, also called the Buddha. Buddha was born in Lumbini, Nepal. He was born into a rich and royal family. Beliefs. The beliefs in Buddhism are the Four Noble Truths: the truth of suffering, dukkha; the truth of origin and suffering, samadaya; the truth of cessation of suffering, nirodha; the truth of the path and cessation of suffering, magga. Karma. Karma is a concept uncontoured in several Eastern religions, although having different meaning. Teaching about karma. Explain that our past actions affect us, either positively or negatively, and that our present action will affect us in the future. Wheel of Life. The Bhavarkra, the Wheel of Life, or Wheel of Becoming, is a mandala, a complex picture representing the Buddha's view of the universe. To Buddhists, existence is a cycle of life, death, rebirth, and suffering that they seek to escape altogether. Form or branches of Buddhism. Buddhism has 4 branches: Mahayana, Theravada, and Mahayana. Theravada and Mahayana are both rooted in the basic teaching of the historical Buddha, and both empathize the individual search for liberation from the cycle of samsara: birth, death, rebirth. The methods or practice for doing that, however, can be very different. Vajrayana. Vajrayana is an extension of Mahayana with Tantric elements. Theravada. Theravada Buddhism is strongest in Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, and Burma, Myanmar. It is sometimes called Southern Buddhism. The name means the doctrine of elders, the elder being the senior Buddhist monks. This school of Buddhism believed that it has remained closet in the original teaching of the Buddha. It does not overemphasize the status of each teaching in a fundamentalist way. They are seen as tools to help people understand the truth and not as having merit on their own. Zen Buddhism. Zen Buddhism is a mixture of India, Mahayana, Buddhist, and Taoist. It began in China, spread to Korea and Japan. It became very popular in the West from the mid-20th centuries, as well as the belief in nirvana and bodhisattva. Sacred text. Buddhism has one sacred book called Pali Canon. It's a book of the dead. Are three major canonical Buddhist texts. The Pali Canon, which means the word of Buddha, includes some of the Buddha's discourse, but it also incorporates the teaching of his pupils. What we think, we become. That's a quote from the Book of Buddha. Sacred site. Lumbini, it's Buddha's birthplace. Gaya, and the current Mahabodhi Temple, Bihar, India, and the most important religious site and place of pilgrimage. Worship and beliefs. Originally, Buddhism was not a religion, but now it has become one. It's sad, but it's true. A person becomes a Buddhist by taking the three refuges that is the Buddha. The Dhamma, or his teaching, and the Sangha, or the community of enlightened being. It lets everyone become a Buddhist. The important days of the month for Buddhists are days when there is a full moon or new moon. The main Buddhist festival of the year is Buddha Day, Wasak. Vaisakha, the celebration of the Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and death. This is one of the temples built in Indonesia. This is a sacred symbol to show the Noble Eightfold. And this is a painting of Buddha.
Islam by Mayah. The beginnings of Islam. One of the main beliefs of the Muslims is Muhammad the Prophet. Muhammad was born into a family, but he was soon orphaned at the age of 6. As soon as his parents died, his grandfather and his uncle took care of him. He didn't really go to school, but he did start working at a young age. When he was 25 years old, he became a business and tradesman, and he made a lot of good business. When he was 40, he got married to the person he loved and that he did good business with. From a young age, you could always find Muhammad meditating. When Muhammad was 40, he believed that he heard someone calling his name from a cave in Mecca, where he lived. People believed it was the voice of Gabriel, an angel, which he was the messenger of the Allah. The Allah is a god in the Muslim religion. Muhammad was monotheistic, which means he only believed in one God. People in Mecca did not see eye to eye with Muhammad. Some of his followers were being attacked. As soon as his followers were being attacked, they moved to Yathrib, which was 200 miles away from Mecca. The moving of all the followers was named the Hijrah. The people in the city of now called Medina also agreed with his beliefs. They accepted Muhammad as a political leader there, and a religious one too. This is their symbol. Some of the sacred texts of the Islams include the Quran, which is basically their laws, the Zabur, the Injil, which is known as the Gospel, and the Quran revealed to the Muhammad. Worships and beliefs. One of the main beliefs is the 6 articles of faith. Number 1, the belief of the existence in one God. Number 2, the belief of the existence in angels. Number 3, the books of which God is the author, which is the Quran, the Gospel, the Torah, and the Psalms of David. Sacred sites. There are 3 main sacred sites. Number 1, the Dome of the Rock is in Jerusalem. Number 2, the Mosque of Mecca. And number 3, the Haram Mosque in Mecca. Modern following. Today, Islam is followed by more than 1 billion people, 1.2 to be exact. The Muslims also celebrate many holidays. For example, Al-Hajj, which marks Muhammad's journey from Mecca to Medina. They also celebrate his birthday, and one of the most known holidays is Ramadan. Ramadan is where Muslims fast for a whole month. They fast from sunrise to sun. People don't fast unless they have any health issues or if they're pregnant. Also, Muslims are not allowed to eat pork or drink any alcohol. Here's a picture of the Dome of the Rock. And here's the geographical location of Islam. And this is the end of learning about the Muslim religion. Thank you.
Legalism, Taoism, and Confucianism, they're all one thing branched off from each other, but legalism was invented by Han Fizi and Li Si around 400 BC. Their beliefs was that the government should use their power to end civil disorder and restore harmony. Again, the sacred text is the I Ching. Legalists also believe that people who carry out their public duties should be rewarded well, and then disobedient people should be punished severely. An example of legalist punishment is that a person not in their own village traveling into a village without a permit should have their ears and nose chopped off. There are not many sacred texts to legalism because there are not many religion aspects to legalism, because legalism is more of a way of controlling a society than actually worshiping. So there are not many sacred texts or sacred symbols that go along with it. Sacred sites and then worshiping and beliefs don't go along with it. Modern following, legalism is still around today, but it's not really the same. It's changed over the years, and it's a lesser extent to what it used to be. Legalism exists in government structure and political systems and judicial systems. The next religion we're going to be talking about is Taoism. Now, Taoism was made by Laozi in China in the 6th century BC. The central beliefs of Taoism is Taoists believe that everything should have a relationship between living things, and that it was a universal force, and that's the way that guided all things. Along with Confucianism and legalism, the I Ching helps guide Taoism people and helps solve ethical and practical problems. Again, another thing in common with Confucianism is the yin-yang, and then again, the picture of life. There are not really many sacred sites of Taoism that I could find, and the religion is practiced, again, by and also the nature of scientific stuff. There are not really many sacred sites to Taoism, but the worship and beliefs was that universal forces will guide all things, and that there's not really modern following of it today. Confucianism it was founded by Confucius in China in 551 BC. The central beliefs of Confucianism is social order, harmony, and good government, and it should be based on family relationships. There are multiple sacred texts that go along with Confucianism. I Ching is one of them that Confucius really wanted to read. Confucianism said that if he had 50 years to spare, he would devote them to the I Ching. Confucianism, another book that represents Confucianism, is Analects. The Analects was a collection of teachings and thoughts of Confucius. Another thing about the text of Analects was it also helps solve ethical or practical problems. Some sacred symbols that go along with Confucius is the yin-yang. The yin-yang's meaning was that something like two opposites cannot exist without each other, kind of like how shadows cannot exist without light. Some sacred sites in Confucius's era was the Temple of Confucius and the Cemetery of Confucius. And this is where Confucius...
Hi, I'm Justin. I'm doing Christianity.
Where was Christianity founded by, when, and by who?
Christianity was founded in Jerusalem by Jesus Christ in the 1st century AD.
What are the central beliefs of Christianity?
the belief of the Father and the Holy Spirit, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and that Jesus Christ was the Savior of the world.
Forms or branches?
There's 5 different branches: the Church of the East, Oriental Orthodoxy, Eastern Orthodoxy, Catholicism, Protestantism.
What?
Okay, go.
What are sacred texts or books? Christianity.
The sacred book of Christianity is the Bible, which is divided into 2 main parts: the Old Testament and the New Testament.
What is it about?
It's about Jesus. The New Testament is about Jesus' life, and the Old Testament is the Jewish Torah.
Okay. And are there any famous quotes or statements that go along with it?
There's many famous quotes, but an example of one is, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life." John 3:16.
Are there any sacred symbols?
The most sacred symbol in the Christian religion is the cross. Yeah.
Okay. Why is it sacred?
Their most sacred site is Jerusalem, which is sacred because that's where Jesus was crucified and then came back to life.
How is this religion practiced?
Christians can practice Christianity by going to church, getting baptized, or being confirmed. But there are other ways, but those are the main ways.
Are there any holidays?
Yes, the Christian holidays include Christmas, Easter, Lent, New Year's, Ash Wednesday, Valentine's Day, Palm Sunday, Good Friday, Pentecost Sunday, Holy Thursday, and Advent.
Is there any modern following today?
Today there's about 2.18 billion Christians around the world.
Where are they concentrated?
The countries with the highest Christian population are the United States, Brazil, and Mexico.
That's it.
And this last picture is the Vatican, where the Pope lives, and most of the major Christian decisions in the religion are made.